Childhood. Chapter 1: Trains and Why I Think About Death a Lot. My very first memory was from when I was 4 years old. Little Toma, wearing second-hand clothes, playing with trains in her first home in Kherson, Ukraine. I remember it so clearly. Sunny day, my mom is knitting and watching a movie on our black and white TV. My grandma is listening to the radio in our living room. It was like my consciousness woke up. Before that, I can't remember anything. Some flashes of different people, white light, and it was as if my brain was downloaded into the system and I began to play a game called Life of Tamara Abrosimova. What was happening before I was born? Was my consciousness and soul somewhere else? How did they form? Those questions come to me before I start questioning what comes after our life ends. Do we go into the eternal void of darkness? The energy can't just disappear or vanish, it has to go somewhere. I refuse to believe that we simply die alone with our soul and consciousness and everything that comes with them. Okay, our body deteriorates, but where does the rest go? I get scared when I think about darkness that's waiting for us. We won't even realize we died. We just do. It's trippy. What if we go into someone else's body and start over until we learn our lessons from previous lives? What if we go to our real home? What if we are born in a different universe in a world where time doesn't exist? If reincarnation does exist, then why can't we remember anything from our other lives? Some people do, but why can't others? Is that what déjà vu is? Brain can hold a lot of information, so why not previous lives? Is there heaven, hell, or purgatory waiting for us? And if there is, will we be wearing clothes or strut naked? Or would we have a clear floating body? Just how evil or good do you have to be to get into heaven or hell? Are there points or gold stars for being a good person? Would we get gift cards in return or be born into a rich family in our next life? What about hell? Who is in there? How hot does it get? Where is this place located at? It has to be somewhere physical, right? Or not? What if this place exists in our brain and our mind will make it seem real because we think we deserve to be there? The Bible better have some answers for me because I keep coming up with more and more questions every single day. I watched some videos on YouTube about people who had near-death experiences, and everyone's story was different, except for one thing, the pulling, which I will mention in a bit. People described seeing themselves in parallel universes, making different choices, having eternal lives, experiencing past lives, talking with their spirit guide, and not even realizing they were dead. One man mentioned that the moment he was pronounced dead on the operating table, he felt his soul leave his body, and he was seeing his body, thus being an observer. The man felt being pulled forwards in a graceful movement. He stated that he didn't see the white light, but rather saw the universe and other universes, planets, and felt an incredible amount of love, a type of love you will not find anywhere else. He felt frequencies and other senses increase, saying that our body is only capable of 6 senses, and out there we can feel anything. The time he spent there felt like decades, and he suddenly felt being pulled down into the reality. When the doctors brought him back, the clock said he was gone for only 7 minutes. Nowadays, the man is hosting lectures around the world about his experience, past lives, etc. Another man described being in the most beautiful building, the lawn and giant hallway with the columns at the sides. No one was there except for him, and he felt as if the veil had been lifted off his eyes, and he saw everything clearly, both physically and emotionally. He also felt being pulled back to our world and told other people about his experience. There are all kinds of interviews on the internet, so give it a go even if you're a non-believer. I really want to believe that reincarnation does exist, and some of us might be born into a lion in an African safari, or become a king of England in the next life. Anything is possible. In early May of 2023, I accidentally consumed 600 milligrams of THC weed. A friend of mine brought it for me, and he wanted me to eat a quarter of special Lifesavers gummies. In my head, I thought that eating one gummy would be too much, so I licked off the THC of all the gummies. Big mistake. I was playing Hogwarts Legacy on my PS4 at the time and licked one gummy, waited 30 minutes, licked another one, waited another half hour, and nothing. I licked all of them, went to bed, and then something happened. I dreamed, if you can call it that I was communicating telepathically with either God or someone else. I was sitting in a gray room and saw slides of my life, particularly the present. The entity told me that Earth was not my home, which is why I always felt that I never seemed to belong there. Then the entity asked me if I wanted to go to my real home, but I was half awake, and as soon as I saw my cats, Draco and Dexter, I telepathically said no. I didn't want to leave them. Where would they go? I was slowly brought back to reality and hugged my kitties very tight. My head was spinning, the worst headache and hangover you can think of. I barely made it to the restroom. I didn't even have enough energy to feed my fur babies. I quickly checked my phone. My mom called me multiple times and sent texts asking where am I and what am I doing. It was Saturday afternoon. Was I asleep for 14 hours? My body couldn't cooperate with my brain on hands, and I instantly passed out. I was exhausted. I didn't get up until Sunday afternoon. My head felt much better, and it was by far the scariest experience I had with drugs. I promised myself to never take gummies ever again. This experience did make me wonder though, what if I had said yes to go into my real home? Where would this home be? In another universe or in another dimension? Was my mother in this world even real? What if everyone I met in my life weren't real and they were just supporting characters in a game, in a simulation we call life? What if nothing mattered in my life and I was playing a demo version of what life can be? What if the choices I made, the people, the animals, music, art, planet Earth, and everything else were created by my imagination? What if none of it actually existed? There are so many conspiracy theories that can be real, and I like to keep an open mind. Time for next chapter, yes?